Welcome back to Saffas Unscripted. Boys, URC, round 4, done and dusted. We're not going to talk about any comments today or anything like that because we have a lot to talk about. We've got some ups and we've got some proper downs when it comes to the South African teams. It was a good round of the URC. But boys, as you know, we are South Africans and we do love calling out some refs. And that's what we'll be doing today. Okay, so sit tight. Anyway, Brett, it's Sunday. How's your day been? How did you enjoy yesterday?
I felt like this wasn't a good round of URC. I was quite annoyed with most of the games. The Leinster-Munster game for me was a bit of a disappointment. I thought it would be like a tight, hard-fought game. It was actually pretty boring. 80,000 fans for what? But they broke the record, so good on them. But yeah, the South African team, Sharks and Stormers specifically. Wowza. Cool.
Yeah. Brevan?
Yeah. Even the Bulls result, right? It's like it's not as satisfying as what it should be. Obviously, it's a great win to get over there in the north, but yeah, it just didn't feel good. Like I left that game again like not like too satisfied. But then on other games as well. I mean, obviously switching over between Stormers and Edinburgh and Munster and Leinster, trying to get as much understanding of what's going on between every team. And yeah, it just honestly, I don't know. It's like that, like Brett said, that Leinster Munster game. Leinster cruised it. It was pretty simple for them.
Walk in the park.
Yeah, and I did say it would be in the preview, but then I kind of took a back step and I was like, maybe it will be tight. But yeah, I know it was one of those weekends where it was frustrating. But yeah, I mean, Leinster just showing how good they are, and then obviously South African teams. Oh my goodness! I mean,
yeah. We'll speak about especially the South African games a bit more in depth, like the game as a whole. But we had a long conversation yesterday on our WhatsApp group, especially while we were watching the Stormers game. Now, don't get us wrong. We are not blaming the result on the ref at all, right? At all, because it's 38-7, okay? But we've always done it. We've always said we want to see accountability for decisions that are made. And if you look at decisions that's been made, obviously we're referring to the South African games now because that's the ones that we watch the most in depth. Like, there was some outrageously shocking calls this weekend. And I feel like it needs to be called out. And I wish I could put in the clips because we all actually filmed the TV and said, look at how ridiculous this is. But I'm scared for copyright. Like these guys, they don't play around when it comes to copyright in rugby. We've seen it during the World Cup. But we can go into examples in a sec. But Brett, what was your thoughts on just the pure refereeing of referring to the South African games this weekend?
Let's talk specifically the Stormers game, because when Edinburgh scored their first try, when they almost scored their first try, the ref was behind the pole. He couldn't see anything. The ball clearly fell out of the guy's hand. And the next minute, you see the ref running into screen, awarding the try. There's no chance ever that he could have seen that was a try. Fortunately, there's a TMO that said, no, you're an idiot, and that is not a try. But I just want to know, because that's when I said, from that I took that conclusion that this is going to be a long game for Stormers. Everything's going to go against them because the refs are awarding tries that the ball's not even in the guy's hand. He dived over the line with the ball at the back, and the ref awarded the try. So I was absolutely shocked at that. And yes, we did take footage. We took footage of every single thing that we're going to complain about, so that people don't say, oh, look, Saffas complaining about the ref again, they're moaning. We literally have footage.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was extremely annoyed.
So that was just a start, right? And then, Brevan, we moved over to the Darcy Graham try, which we've all felt was a knock-on. Like he lost control of the ball over the line. Then you look at the try disallowed for Keke Morabe, who's literally also just like the exact same thing, right? You look at that try that was disallowed that you're talking about, Brett, where he never grounded the ball. That is the exact same as Keke Morabe's, but they said that his one was backwards, but Keke Morabe has knocked it somehow forward, right?
Yes.
But Darcy Graham's gets awarded as a try, which is more of a knock-on, in my opinion, than if you look at Marcel Coutinho's try that was disallowed for also being over the line. It's the exact same thing. It was literally the exact same thing, but the one gets awarded. And that coming from, I wish I could show this because obviously people won't know it, but the most blatant hands in the ruck when we were on attack, they get the ball, they kick it 50-22 because obviously it's a counter-attack, and they go and score from that. Like the most blatant hands in the ruck that you will see in your life. Right? This ref of the Stormers Edinburgh game was horrific. Terrible. And I'm not even talking about the Leland Zas try that definitely should have stood, because I've never seen that in my life, where you get called back for something like that. Brevan, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, obviously, look, I was switching back and forth, so I didn't get to see all of the calls that were made. But that Darcy Graham one for me doesn't sit well. And like, obviously, they'll say, I'm guessing the reason they awarded it is because they felt like there was no separation, quote unquote, and there was downward pressure on the ball. Whereas personally, I mean, and people must remember, right? You guys, whether we would like South African teams or not to do well, you guys are Stormers fans. If a Bulls loses a game, you love it. Like, let's be real. Yeah. And when Stormers lose a game, it's not like I go, like, oh, that sucks. Like, it's not. So I'm not going to stick up for the Stormers for no reason. But honestly, like, there were some things there where it was just like, I don't understand how you could give that specific try. Because he's clearly, it's fallen out of his arm, and he's like grounded it with this part of his hand here. I don't get how you can say he's fully in control of that. But yeah,
compared to Marcel Coetzee.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, right? Refs can make their calls, fine, 100%. Make your calls, but be consistent with the way you make your calls. Like, there is no 1 week, Darcy Graham will get given that try, and the next week he won't, and then the following week he won't again, and then 2 weeks later he'll get given it. I just like, make up your mind of what you want, because this is why people coming into the sport, right? They don't they watch the sport and they're like, okay, but 2 weeks ago when I tried to watch the sport, that was not given. Like, it just brings confusion to the game. I mean, it's just consistency. It's a problem.
Also the biasness of the commentators, because Darcy Graham was walking back, not jogging back, walking back, looked very nervous in his face, and he did this when somebody, I don't know if he asked him, did you score the try? He just, I don't know what he said, but his face looked like, we might not have to go all the way to halfway. I might kind of not have. And they like, oh, he looks super confident that he scored that try. He didn't look confident at all. He knew in his head, I've just dropped that ball. I knocked that ball. If I get awarded this try, I owe somebody money. That's the type of vibe that I got from Darcy Graham's face.
But Brett, not even that. Like, yeah, they were biased, but other times, even they called out the shocking decision-making. Literally, they called... I mean, I just told you guys about this Lions game that we literally just watched. There, right at the end, and the Dragons guy got a steal at the end to keep the Dragons in the game, 5 meters up from their own line, right? And the commentators were like, yeah, he does anything to get the ball. And then they saw the replay, and then they were like, even if it's from a very, very, very offside position, you know, like, even them called it out. I saw it in this Stormers game as well. They even called out some of the bad decision-making. You look at the worst one of the lot, David Creel getting a red card, right, for playing rugby, while Francois Venter gets absolutely smoked in the face by a Benetton player, big boy, gets smoked. And they're like, nah, okay, yellow card. But David Creel has the ball, hand off, yeah, okay, maybe neck, collarbone area, right? It's no intensive force. Boom, red card. Didn't even think about it. Just go, get off the field. Like, it is an absolute farce the way the games were. I'm not saying this is deciding the games at all, because the Stormers still lost 38-7. We were never in the game. Never. But we have to call this out. This is ridiculous. Like, you have
Also,
to call it
yeah,
out.
I agree. Because even the Leinster-Munster game, Munster scored a try with that skip pass, and I went on the 5 meter line. I think it was Crowley. I think he was like about 3 meters from the 5 meter line, and the ball went very wide. And whoever caught the ball, I forget the name of the wing, it was about 4 meters behind the 5 meter line. Yeah, so I went on that line. So yes, like if you're running in rugby, the ball always go forward. But that ball didn't go forward.
Yeah.
Like even if they were standing still, the ball would have still gone backwards.
A lot less forward than the ball that
think,
went to Darcy Graham that they didn't call forward.
Yes.
So I think with that, for example, I think people need to start realizing that if it looks forward on a camera, that might not necessarily be the case, because there's angles for a reason, right? I mean, and I think, like Brett says, we need to look at using your common sense. When you see a ball being passed 3 meters behind a 5 meter and he catches it about 3 meters behind the 5 meter, the ball cannot possibly have gone forward, because he's catching it within line of the pass, if that makes sense. It may look it on a TV angle, but it's just that's not the case. And then just on the David Creel thing, according to the letter of the law, like Brett said, pointed this out last night, that's a red card. So award the red card fine if that's letter to the law. My issue is, why are we being so soft on the law? Are we just are we going to now say you cannot hand off anyone? I mean, me and Brett play club rugby. You get handed off palm to the nose. Like, they don't care. That's how you should play rugby. Like, we are not living in. I'm not going to. We're not living in
does that a million times a game and never gets called for it.
Yeah, I just. There needs to be. I don't know. Because even with it looks, you could say, according to the letter of the law, bad. But he brushes him. I can't see how that would have caused problems for the player. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like, I mean, Bulls again taking away the ref, because I don't want to be that guy that's just talking about the ref the whole episode, because obviously teams need to take account. So Bulls last 20 again. It's just, what are you doing? Like, well done on closing it off, and I know it was tough with 13 men, and it probably was very frustrating. But again, just second half discipline, didn't start off well, let them back into the game, made it closer than what it should have been. It's just unnecessary. Like, that will not win you the URC, you know. So
especially with the start like you guys had, Brevan, when you're like in the first half and like 35 minutes, 26-0, like you in cruise control, you're playing some beautiful rugby, you're scoring tries from anywhere on the pitch. Willie Leroux, man, was sourcing. He was so good. Kane Moody looked brilliant again. I mean, like, how is it possible to have such a drop off in one game? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's every single game.
But that's the thing, it's a consistent thing. It's not like we mention this every episode the Bulls play. We say last 20, okay, we turn into Stormers.
Is that what you wanted to say?
No, I wanted to use some.
Really, is that what you wanted to say? I
wanted to use some Hong Kong name from like level 10 amateur rugby. Like, literally, we turn into a team that doesn't know how to control a game at all. So, yeah, that needs to be fixed. I don't know how they're going to do it, because we keep saying it needs to be fixed and it doesn't get fixed, but it needs to be fixed. So that's the only negative I have from the game, is just, honestly, the Bulls need to give me an 80-minute performance, or give their fans or whatever an 80-minute performance that is like, okay, you went from minute 1 to 80 and you can show that you can handle the game, because we far too many times just throw it away last 30-20 minutes. So yeah, not good.
Brett, what was your thoughts on the Bulls game?
Yeah, we're going in a weird order, but I can work with it. The Bulls game, obviously, I thought they're going to score 50 at one point. Willie LaRue, next
At
level. I
least.
thought he was phenomenal. Um, like he's the real deal. I even made a post about it. I said Willie LaRue is the best 15 in the world, and I stand by that. I don't think there's a better 15 at the moment than Willie LaRue. The way he controlled that game, the way he, like, just his thinking, like, I don't know. Maybe sometimes I feel like maybe he was lazy, but he was at the right place at the right time. And then I look at him at other places, other parts of the game where there's Willie again. There's Willie again. He's like, I don't know. I think he's just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I do disagree a little bit about Moody. I felt like he made too many mistakes.
Yeah, I'm with Brett. I don't think Moody had a great game.
Yeah.
And I just don't think 13 is his spot. I just don't. I don't believe it.
According
So,
to Jake White, it's his spot. He wants him to be the 13
I know.
as well.
But
Yeah, I do feel that Ulrich Lowe is the real deal. Keeping a guy like Hanekom out the team, you know the guy's a real deal.
But then Hanekom came off the bench and called. I don't know. That guy just 2 steals like that. Steal to win.
Does that mean Hanekom is the next Quagga Smith?
Could be.
Who knows?
I've actually got him as the next.
Damn.
I've got him as that he takes that Marco van Staden role. I think Marco van Staden's played his last game for the Springboks. Cameron Hanekom takes over, and then he'll take over from Siya Kolisi.
Wow. The fact that I a little bit agree with you on the Marco van Staden maybe playing his last game, but if Marco van Staden has a great URC, he could worm his way back into the team because everyone knows what he can do. But the last few games for the Boks been absolutely shocking.
Yeah, well, especially since I don't want to talk about Springboks, but we have spoke about like maybe the end of the year, getting some young guys through, getting like starting to move on with some of the older guys or whatever, right? But that's the end of the Bulls. Let's move over to the most embarrassing of the lot. I want to just laugh when I see the scoreline. Benetton taking on the Sharks. Wow. I mean, we spoke about it. Brevin, myself, you and myself, we spoke about it. And we said we can't see where Benetton gets the advantage in this game. Not physically, nothing. They smashed them. They smashed the Sharks.
Chichuka's face when he did the interview after the game. It's like he saw a ghost. Not necessarily saw a ghost, but he just looked like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it was just, oh my, like, I was like, I said Sharks to win this, like, pretty comfortably, and they just got absolutely smoked. I mean, and a Benetton side that's been pretty poor in the beginning of the season. So,
and it was from start to finish. They had no sniffs, really.
Yeah, like, I mean, that is, I get your Springboks aren't there, whatever, but that team is more than equipped to win against Benetton. Like, there is no doubt about it. So, personally, I think it's time to start for higher up to start looking properly and seeing where the issue is and deal with it pretty quickly. Because as a team with so much, first of all, representing so many of our top players, and just, I mean, the Sharks, like we say on paper, should not be finishing anywhere outside the top 2, just in general. Like, it shouldn't be happening. And they just continue to just throw it away. And I don't understand why. I mean,
no game plan. There's nothing. There's nothing when you look at it. Yeah. Let Brett go first. I'll let Brett.
So there's a content creator on that other app that this guy has long hair. I forget his name. I don't even know what his name is. I just know that he always, when his videos look so cool, but he talks out of his ass and he has no clue what he's talking about. And he made a video somewhere in the week or last week where he said that at the end of year tour, Rassi has to look at the following players, and he named the Nohambas and he named Siama Suku, and he named Lorenzo Julius and these guys. And I saw this game and I'm like, firstly, I think this guy is a clown for not knowing anything about anything. Fancy equipment doesn't make you a knowledgeable person when it comes to rugby, because Siama Suku was out of his depth. He's been found out. He saved the Sharks last year when he came into the squad, and he did well until then. But he's a one-horse pony. He does exactly the same thing. Like, for me, he reminds me of a Sexton, where I know when it passes to the left, he's going to do a little run around, and that's it. He does the same shit every single time. And a Lorenzo Julius, you can't be this hyped-up person. And I know it got heated on our WhatsApp group when I raised this topic, but you can't be this like hyped up person, but you can't make a tackle. Yes, I know he moved to the wing and all that stuff, but it's inexcusable. You can't miss so many tackles at this level and then by other content creators get dubbed the next big thing in the Springbok jersey. What, are we trying to make the Springboks weaker? It blew my mind, that whole game. And the chemistry between him and Andre Esterhuizen, non-existent. It was a shit show, an absolute shit show. That guy, rather play Ethan Hooker at 13 and make Lorenzo Julius the wing. If you really want,
that's the obvious decision.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't see why you wouldn't use Ethan Hooker at 13. I get but this is the issue I have, right? And like Brett said, it's just not people. And I don't know if you remember when this guy started breaking onto the scene. When was it? I think it was not even. I think it was the last under-20 championship.
We're talking about Lorenzo Julius.
Lorenzo Julius. I think all three of us got tagged in a post on a different social media platform by a page that was hyping this guy, and was not so. Obviously, it was. I think it was a rugby boss, and one of our followers tagged us, and it was like Lorenzo Julius is the next big thing. And I think me and Brett responded that's cool and all, but why are we creating such hype over a player who hasn't proven anything yet? Because I think we're a country that I think our players do well because we start giving them the credit fully when they have started to achieve something, started to find consistency, whatever. Look at in England, don't get me wrong, Marcus Smith has potential to be a great player, but there's no ways that he has ever reached his full potential yet because of the hype he gets behind his name. It's unnecessary hype. And I just feel like we shouldn't fall into this trap of just saying he is the next big thing. He'll get that Springbok jersey. He'll be there, because players see opinions all over the place. And when you start telling someone they are the best, they will be the next Springbok, whatever, complacency is an evil thing. It will creep into your mind. And I personally think that's what's happening here, because we spoke about it on the group. Defense is not a skill. Yes, we need to learn how to tackle properly. Cool. That's easy. It's an attitude at the end of the day. You cannot ever be able to defend if you don't have an attitude. You have to have an attitude about you saying, I'm going to tackle you. Even if it's what I will get you down. That is the attitude you need. But I just feel like some players, it's just missing a tackle's okay because maybe our cover defense will get it. It's just unnecessary stuff. Sharks need to fix something, because that morale won't be good. I don't see it being very good after that tour. So
no, it's terrible. I said it at the start of the season, if they get off to a shaky start in the URC, they have to look to move on. I don't care whether they won the Currie Cup or whatever now. With all that talent in the world, that is, I know Plumtree can't he's not to blame for knock-ons 5 meters out or anything like that. But he is to blame when you look at that team and you just think and you watch a game against Benetton and you're like, there's nothing. There is nothing in this team going on. There's no system. The defensive line is shocking. We're leaking points everywhere. Don't look like scoring a try unless we just muscle through someone or anything. That is why I'm just they have to think about getting someone else in. You can't use the excuse for the Stormers that you for the Sharks that you use for some of the other teams where it's like, okay, you need their box players back because you know they're crucial to this team, right? Like, obviously, if they get their box back, they'll be a massive, massive team. But you look at that team, still, even that team alone that they put out on paper is still a top 6 team. Like, that is how good that team is. Like, it's ridiculous. And to go on, like, we spoke about it yesterday, Brett. I feel kind of a bit bad for Lorenzo Julius because of all of the hype. Because when you hype a player up, obviously, when he does bad, the backlash is going to be much worse. And my argument wasn't that he's great. Okay, I can see a bit of talent there, but the thing is, you can't hype a player up on compilations of schoolboy rugby and under 20s rugby where you can kind of blast over people. He doesn't have the size advantage like he had at schoolboy rugby against guys that are 30, 32 years old. Like, you're not going to beast over most of those guys. Yeah. So he has to adapt his game and get better with it. Now, I can see the talent, but obviously there is still a lot to prove. He's, in my opinion, he shouldn't, if you want to hype up guys that are young, Henko van Wyk, there you go. Ethan Hooker, Brevin, you mentioned a bunch of guys. Sasha Feinberg. For instance, those are the guys that deserve the real hype because they've proved it on this stage as well. So kind of to put him in the same category, I just think is almost detrimental to his own gameplay because now it gets to his head. As you said, complacency can be there. He still needs to prove himself at this level. So I feel bad for the guy that they are putting him in that category, and then maybe he's just trying to do too much.
Like, I just find, like, if you look at players who have succeeded from young, and look at Sasha, there was no big hype behind his name when he burst onto the scene. And he went and he proved himself, and look at him now. Cameron Honeycomb. He just came into a URC team in the beginning of last season, took his opportunity, and he's been consistent since then. Yes, he's still probably got a lot more to do, but there was no hype behind his name. And that's what I love about South Africa is we appreciate the talent we have, but we don't overhype it. And it's just this is one guy where I'm like, you're gonna ruin talent here. And I firmly believe when people start yapping in ears about how great they are I just let the oak go through life. Life needs to humble you, And I don't know.
They did the same with Wandisile Similani, and I feel like those two are the exact same player. I don't see them playing for the box.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to another embarrassment. And I know I spoke about the ref or anything, but that does not take away from the fact that the Stormers were shocking yesterday. We were utterly, utterly shocking. Yeah, we had some decent patches, but for our team that we spoke about, that's one of the most exciting teams to watch. How we let that backline flow. You look at the names that we have and everything. Where were we? We were absolutely nowhere. We got ragdolled once again, Brett. That dirty work at the breakdown, not there. Non-existent. No cleaners, nothing. Literally, those... Brevin, we spoke about it in the preview, where the place that I'm nervous about it is at the breakdown, because they are absolutely lethal. Those Lucy's of Edinburgh, they are lethal at the breakdown. What did we decide to do? Commit no one to a breakdown. It is a farce. It's an absolute joke. It is the most frustrating thing in the world to watch the Stormers at the moment, because we've seen what we've done in, 2022, right? And all of that has gone straight out the window, and we've said, we're just going to be shit now. That's how it feels. Brett, this is your team. Speak about it.
Yeah, I was concerned most of the game. Firstly, Damian Willemse, shocking performance. Tried too much, didn't gel. He should go back to 15. But then again, Galant wasn't bad at 15. He tried. He was
our stand-up player,
yes,
in my opinion.
He did, however, give a little grubber kick to the try line where he just flat he needed to pass the ball or go himself, because that gap that he kicked the ball in, that was a gap to run in.
I know.
He scored himself there. But also, yeah, that's my only issue I had with Galant. But then Willemse, shocking. Dan du Plessis not getting over the gain line once. Come on.
It's the
You're
first time not getting over the game line, getting tackled back like that. It's the first
backwards
time I've
a few
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Brock Harris, too old. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is before you carry on. Sorry to take this, but like, I think that's just a picture of where the issue lies. You're still relying on Brock Harris to do a job. It's
How many times we spoke about this, Brevan? Like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
know,
a
but
massive
like
issue.
there should have been a better way to kind of bring in someone that's younger. I don't know, but like having Brock Harris as your starting prop I understand he's a legend. I get he's given his all for that jersey, but there comes a time where you need to move on. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brett. I mean, you can carry on.
I felt like Andre Hilventer was okay. No real game breaking moments. He was okay. I think our locks were our best players. Schikkeling
Schikkeling was amazing.
He was really good. And also Schikkeling, the last try that Edinburgh scored, the guy's literally holding him. He can't do anything. Schikkeling's trying to hit his hand off right in front of the ref. They score at Schikkeling's feet and nothing. Ref.
You're not going to continue talking about the ref. It's a shambles. It's a shambles.
Oh. But anyway, Evans, I didn't think was good at all. I felt like he should have been taken off at halftime. Making your debut for the Stormers, you need to be better. Ben Jason Dixon, quiet game, unnecessary. We needed the Oak. He's a flippin' red-hot Springbok, and he was nowhere. Keke Murabe dropping 3 balls in the first 10 minutes. Come on.
For how good he was against Zebra, he was terrible.
He was. Paul DeVet was good. He tried. I'm not going to say he was good. He tried. Zas, very good. I felt like Zas was very good. But the rest was shambles. Also, no chemistry. There was a passage in the game, I think it was 62 minutes, where Stormers had the ball on the 22. We had the ball, passed it about 20 times, ended up on our 10. You're supposed to be going forwards, pals. But yeah, enough said about that. I'm highly annoyed with this.
I want to give credit to this Edinburgh team, because obviously they wouldn't have the most confidence in the world, and to go out at home and put a kind of a stamp of authority victory as well. Like, we didn't even say it to Benetton, but Benetton as well. Like, they looked really good. Reno Smith from Benetton. Brett, you've been calling for him for a very long time. He was class. He was class. But anyway, well done to Benetton. Like, they thoroughly smashed us, right? When they scored that try to make it 21-7, from there on, they just completely took over. I think that killed our momentum. Or, well, not even then. Like, when we had that try that was disallowed for Schikkeling, that ripped the ball, and they called it back for his knee touched the ground, like when the ref doesn't call release or anything like that. Obviously, the guy's going to rip the ball. Like, he didn't call tackle made, but that was like a momentum destroyer, and Edinburgh just pounced on it. And they were so clinical. They absolutely smashed us. But at least we're coming back home now. Mani will have a field day coming back into the Stormers team, because he got married as well. Congratulations to Mani Lubbock. So I'm expecting him one this season now. This is the expectation, because just get me Mani at 10 now. If Wari can play like he does at the moment, he can take that 15 jersey and have Damian Willems to play at 12. Because I just can't see. I don't know. Something needs to change there, and we need to get the backline flowing. That's basically it. Sorry, Brevan, do you want to say something on the Stormers game?
No, I mean, obviously, like, I was just switching back and forth, so I don't have like a full-on. But like, I think just the basics. It looked like there was no, like you said, go forward ball, and I mean, go forward ball is pretty important in rugby. You know, you can't really get a defense on their back foot if you don't go forward. So, just I don't know. It's one of those things where it's such a talented group again, but it's just you'll be so happy to be coming home now, because Stormers need to start getting results and results quickly. So they'll be happy with, and obviously Springboks coming back. Hopefully that can do something for the team as well.
We need it. It's difficult fix. Munster, Glasgow, Ugh.
Yeah,
Is that the
it's
Stormers
rough.
fixtures now?
Yes, Munster and
Oh
Glasgow.
my word, it makes me want to cry. Makes me want to cry. Already. Oh my word. Oh, Stormers. Anyway, we can't really talk about the Lions Dragons game. None of us watched it. Yeah, we were all a bit busy on this little Sunday afternoon, but well done to them. Obviously, going on tour, we've spoke about the South Africans struggling on tour. They beat this Dragons team that we've seen can be a tough team to beat at home. They've looked good. Obviously, it was a tight game in the end, 23 points to 19. But the Lions get the job done. They move on. Where are they on the table now? One sec. Move on to third on the table with a game less played.
Can I just raise a little topic there? Somebody that's hitting Brett's radar there is the 12 of the Lions, Jonker. His dad is the old
I
Brett.
said it last week. Yeah.
Marius
He's playing
Jonker,
very
man.
good.
No, Reinhard Jonker.
No, I'm saying
Marius Jonker
you
is
said
a
he's-
ref, isn't he?
Yes,
you
that's
said-
his dad.
that's
Oh,
what
it's
I
his
was-
dad. Oh, sorry,
Yes.
my bad.
What are you doing,
No,
bro?
he's class. He's class. He's so good at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's how old is he?
I don't know, young, but I'm going to ask him to come on the pod.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's
That'll
do
be a
it.
sick. But yeah, I mean, because obviously I thought so. My two wins for the Saffas team were Sharks and Bulls, right? But then after the pod we had casual, I literally looked at SUPERBRU, and I was like looking at past results between Dragons and
You've never
the
beaten
Lions.
the Lions.
And I was like, Lions actually should win this if I look at the past results and look at the form they're in. So I quickly changed my SUPERBRU to Lions, and luckily I did that because I literally just edged it there. So, but this is great for the Lions. Obviously, I don't know who their remaining fixtures are, but it's a good start. But obviously, I do believe fixtures will get tougher if I'm not mistaken.
Next up, how many games are they on tour? They're playing Zebra next.
Okay, they should win.
Yeah, Leinster.
Okay.
And then Munster.
Oh wow.
And then they come back home to play the
If
Stormers.
there's a team that could cause a massive upset abroad, it's the Lions. They're very up and down. They a little weird. So I think they can cause an upset. Munster kept Leinster scoreless in the second half. Just remember that second.
Because Ross Byrne came on.
Half of the Irish side played there, and they were scoreless in the second half. So take whatever video clips you can get from that result and pounce on that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. The rest of the games, we'll just quickly fly through it. Glasgow smashing Zebra, 33 points to 3. No surprises there. Cardiff losing to the Scarlets. Sorry?
Say that again.
We're not talking about the game.
Oh, well, what did you want to say about it?
No, I just said first 20 minutes of that game, brilliant rugby. I thought Zebra was giving them, and then they just gave up.
But we've seen this from Zebra a couple of times. Like they've got a bit in the tank, and then it's like kind of when they finally concede some points, it's just like, okay, well, it was for nothing, and then they just go back to being Zebra. That's literally how I feel when I watch Zebra. It's like, okay, as soon as we concede, we are not playing anymore. We are not playing anymore. Anyway, Cardiff Scarlets upset. I thought Cardiff at home with the derby they'd get it over the line. They lost.
Same. I don't even want to look at my SUPERBRU. I think I got everything wrong.
I got this one wrong as well. I went Cardiff. I said Cardiff has been has impressed me. Scarlets as well, but I just feel like I'm more impressed by Cardiff. And once again, they don't lose by much, but they still lose. Oh, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. But yeah. Anyway, did you want to add something to that? I'm pretty sure you didn't watch that game. Yeah, me neither.
I did.
Anyway, Leinster Munster, we already kind of spoke about that at the start. But yeah, Leinster just in cruise control. What's our thoughts for Munster in the season? Will they just fix up? What's the problem at the moment? Because they haven't looked the same as they ended last season with, or not even ended. Because remember that they struggled at the start of last season, and then all of a sudden they just clicked into gear.
Yeah.
We're expecting the same thing this season.
Yes, because their key players were all dog shits against their most important rivals.
Yeah.
So I was a bit shocked by that. Like, Crowley, what the heck? Who's that oak? That's not the same oak I know. Missing that easy kick.
Yeah.
I
And
think
then-
Ireland
then-
found
then you've-
his next 10, I'm not going to lie.
Sorry.
What?
I think
Surely.
Ireland found their next 10, genuinely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go
Yeah.
with Pendergast. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with Rossburn, or it is Rossburn. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with Crowley. I wouldn't go with Pendergast. I'd literally go with Crowley. I
Yeah.
don't see why you wouldn't.
Because
He
he's
is-
ginger.
Yeah, but he's also a proper player, and he's got something for the big games, like, and he's been looking good, and he can actually play all over the pitch as well. So he offers you a lot. So yeah, but Leinster once again just cruise control. But yeah, the most impressive thing for me is still that 82,000 for a franchise game. I still
Yeah,
can't
that's
believe
good.
it.
Did you check Achia's one-handed take in the lineup?
Oh my word,
That was
sexy!
mental. Like, it was
Yeah.
so smooth. It was like grab down. Just not even
Yeah,
like, and he could have even used two hands, and he was like, nah, I got this.
Yeah.
One hand.
And it's not even a juggle like in the fingers or anything. It just went into the claw and he just like whacked it down.
Yeah, crazy.
Quickly,
Ridiculous.
besides that's boring. I don't care about locks. I want to talk about that 82,000 people. You do know that if the Bulls decide we want to play at Soweto against the Stormers, that record will be broken, right?
What, FNB Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, that's 90,000. Do you believe Stormers and Bulls could stack up
Yes,
90,000?
it would sell out.
Well,
I mean-
especially if we make it a big thing. If we say, listen, we're going to try and stack out a 90,000 seat stadium, probably, yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the tickets were too expensive to go to Croker as well, because you can fit in so many people. So, like, I heard ticket prices of, like, let's say 20 to 30 pounds. Like,
That's not bad.
but obviously I could be mistaken. That's just what I heard on a TikTok live. So
Yeah,
Well,
look, obviously,
either way-
I'll still. Okay, I know Brett is very, to please Brett, you got to be like the best, But like, I'll just say, like, I mean, considering how many people they have in the country, like I said on the last pod, like, I'm just glad that sports or rugby is well and healthy in Ireland. Let's say that, because you know what, like, we need that. We need them to make the sport what it is at the moment,
Yeah.
being so competitive. So yeah, I mean, it's massive. I mean, it's still such a cool thing as a player to be a part of, to play in front of so many people. I mean, people shouldn't even take that as something to stress about. It's something to be proud of. So yeah. I mean, it's good for rugby. And I'd love to see, I don't know if they'd ever do this, because obviously home and away would be weird, yeah, but I'd love to see like a double header at FNB, like a Sharks versus Lions, for example. And it would work, because like a Sharks versus Lions at home, Bulls versus Stormers, Bulls at home. I think it would be so cool to have it at FNB. It would sell out 1,000%, even if it was just Bulls and Stormers. Because
2021 that happened. Remember Super Saturday?
Yeah. I was also there. It's before we had even met.
Yes.
But yeah, it was. I just think like Loftus, which is 54,000, I think it is, or whatever. That sells out in about 3 or 4 days for a Bull Stormers game. It would sell out. So I'd love to see that. I mean, yeah, it would be cool. But anyways, all we can do is hope.
yeah, and then finally we had Ulster Connacht. At least I got a prediction right. I said Ulster will do it close. They did do it close. Yeah, I'm still depressed on the Stormers one. Like I don't even feel like talking about this one anymore.
I missed that completely, so I'm out on this one.
Yeah, same. But yeah, we did call a close win at least.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. We forgot to say, people, please do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate you guys. I know people will be going off on us for talking about the ref and stuff, but obviously, when you want to judge players, and hold them accountable for stuff, you have to do the same for a ref, especially when you have easy decisions to make and you have a TMO and stuff backing you up. We want the game to be better, and then you need the guys to do their job better. Anyway, thank you.
Revan, to be fair.
I said, to be fair, I mean, I've seen a lot of Munster fans like going off at the ref, so it's not just
this weekend.
Yeah,
that forward pass.
Yeah,
like,
blatant.
But even I just saw, like, obviously there's Irish content creators, rugby content creators that post about the game or whatever, and I've just seen Munster fans really upset with the ref.
So if anybody asks, I have proof of all our things we spoke about. I recorded every single thing and posted it on WhatsApp group.
Yeah, DM us, we'll send it to you. Yeah, we can't show it here, so yeah, send us.
Anyway, bye-bye.
Cheers.